The executive branch carries out laws. It is composed of the President and the Vice President who are elected by direct popular vote and serve a term of 6 years. The Constitution grants the President authority to appoint his cabinet. These departments form a large portion of country's bureaucracy. The President leads the country. He or she is the head of state, leader of the national government, and the commander-in-chief of all armed forces of the Philippines. The President serves a 6-year term and cannot be re-elected. Qualifications of the President. The qualification for an individual aspiring to become the President of the Philippines are outlined in Article 7, Section 2 of 1987 Constitution. According to the Constitution, an individual may become president providing he meets the following criteria: natural-born Filipino, a registered voter, must be able to read and write, 40 years of age at the day of the election, and must have resided in the Philippines 10 years before the election is held. The Vice President supports the President. If the President is unable to serve, the Vice President becomes President. He or she serves a 6-year term. Qualifications of Vice President. The qualifications for aspirants to the office of the Vice President is outlined in Article 7, Section 3. According to the Constitution, the qualification for the Vice President is same for the President. It includes natural-born Filipino, a registered voter, must be able to read and write, 40 years of age at the day of the election, and must have resided in the Philippines 10 years before the election is held.
The legislative branch is one of the three divisions of government that works in conjunction with the executive and judicial branches. The legislative power shall be vested in the Congress of the Philippines, which shall consist of a Senate and the House of Representatives, except to that extent reserved to the people by the provision on initiative and referendum. No person shall be a senator unless he is a natural-born citizen of the Philippines and, on the day of the election, is at least 35 years of age, able to read and write, a registered voter, and a resident of the Philippines for not less than 2 years immediately preceding the day of the election. The House of Representatives shall be composed of not more than 250 members, unless otherwise fixed by law, who shall be elected from legislative districts apportioned among the provinces, cities, and the metropolitan Manila area in accordance with the numbers of their respective inhabitants, and on the basis of a uniform and progressive ratio, and those who, as provided by law, shall be elected through a party list system of registered national, regional, and sectoral parties of organization. No person shall be a member of the House of Representatives unless he is a natural-born citizen of the Philippines and, on the day of the election, is at least 25 years of age, able to read and write, and, except the party list representatives, a registered voter in the district in which he shall be elected, and a resident thereof for a period of not less than 1 year immediately preceding the day of the election.
The judicial power is vested in the Supreme Court of the Philippines and lower courts established by law. Judiciary, also known as the judicial system or court system, is the system of courts that interprets and applies the law in the name of the state. The judiciary also provides a mechanisms for the resolution of disputes. Under the doctrine of the separation of powers, the judiciary generally does not make law or enforce law, but rather interprets law and applies it to the facts of each case. This branch of the state is often tasked with ensuring equal justice under law. It usually consists of a court of final appeal, called the Supreme Court or Constitutional Court, together with lower courts. The justices serve until the age of 70. The justices are appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Judicial and Bar Council of the Philippines. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines presides over the Supreme Court of the Philippines and is the highest judicial officer of the government of the Philippines. The Chief Justice is Maria Lourdes Sereno, who was appointed by President Benigno Aquino III on August 24, 2012. Other court types of courts of varying jurisdiction around the archipelago are the lower collegiate courts, Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, and Sandigan Bayan. Regular courts, regional trial courts, municipal circuit trial courts. The Supreme Court, which has a Chief Justice as its head and 14 associate justices, occupies the higher chair of the judiciary.